Hello boxing fans, right now I'm chatting on about Matt Skelton versus Tom Dallas, and I was going to do this one yesterday but I was totally hungover, intoxicated still, been to work, hadn't ate and tired as fuck, so I decided, fuck it, I'll do it today instead. So, sometimes there are big shocks in boxing, and first I'd like to point out I predicted this one would happen. Now, I cannot put a solid reason on why I thought it would happen. It's just a thought that the experience combined with the fact that Skelton's last chance and a guy who, was gun shy in his last fight against a guy who then went out and knocked him clean out will be a huge talking point in this fight when it actually happens. And to be fair, I think it was. You see, round one was close, in my opinion, but Skelton pushed the fight, so he probably won the first round. He attempted to land some good shots. Dallas didn't do too much. He threw out a jab every now and again, but it was a close round, and I gave it to Skelton. Round two was much more of a Skelton round. You see, Dallas didn't have a spear and jab at this point. It was just a range keeper with zero power if he threw it out at all, and a lot of the time it didn't land either. And the movement wasn't great, and the stamina was an issue already in just round two. Now, I don't know how you can be a professional athlete and you get into round two, and at round two you're tired, because realistically that's going to be a big issue in life if it is. You haven't trained at all for that, have you really then, Tom? That's all I can say. He seemed to be chin shy in this fight. That's one I'd like to throw out there, new word, chin shy. He didn't want to get hit. And this is boxing. You're going to get hit eventually. And like if you're a swimmer and you jump into a pool, you may get a little wet. You got to deal with it. And in this one, Tom didn't deal with it at all. He crumbled under the pressure. The round three again was another Skelton round, and this one was basically pressure from Skelton, who is well above Tom Dallas's level right now. In every way too. He's a much better fighter, much better boxer. He didn't really show it in this fight particularly, but he did show spots of where his boxing ability is. He took a few punches in this round. This is Dallas. Those heavy hooks thrown by Skelton, loads of big shots. Dallas just didn't want to be there, in my opinion. I think he said at the end of the round that he was tired. This is your job, mate. You're getting paid real money for this. If I turned up to my work and went, you know what, I'm so hungover, I don't think I can do my work, I wouldn't be getting paid, would I? So, like I said, he's got to really do his job, and he didn't do his job. So, at this one, I think there was a mental block in this one, and he crumbled under it, basically. Round four was more of the same, more pressure on the ropes. Dallas was just pinned down, taking shots. It was like watching Black Hawk Down. It was like the troops were like that, sitting behind the wall getting shot at, and Dallas was like the troops, and then the militia, which was Skelton, was just like bashing his head in almost. It was pretty hard to watch if you're a Dallas fan. I like both fighters, so I'm not really bothered. And he had no. This is Dallas. He had no jab in this round. He had no stamina at all in this round. He had some type of defence that was getting penetrated numerous times by Skelton. It just looked like it was waiting for the end. And then round five was the end. More shots on the ropes from a guy who was barely fighting back at this point. He was just not mentally or physically in the fight. The referee stopped it, and for me it was a good call. He could have kept going, but he was going to get himself hurt. So, good decision, referee. Okay, so overall, where did these guys go? Well, Dallas has to go and see a shrink. For me, he left a lot in the ring when he fought David Price. Maybe it's true that a boxer can knock the confidence straight out of you, and the drive, desire wasn't there. Nothing was there. He just didn't have anything to have a go. So who can he face? Well, if he has some time off, which I think he should do, get his head right, come back, fight some maybe easy matches, some matches that he can definitely win, and then on the back of that he can come up, face one of the British heavyweights, maybe see some McDermotts, some Sextons, maybe Oliver Miru. It can happen. I don't see why not. And where does Skelton go from here? Well, I had a feeling this fight was his fight, because he was offered and he accepted a 3-fight deal with Maloney. Now, you don't just give a 3-fight deal to a bum that you're just going to use as a stepping stone. So what he did was he came through this fight, and this was like test number 1, flying colours passed, right? Next he's going to be, he should be highly rated by the Commonwealth, and he's also fought in Europe, and he's been fought for the world title, so he should be highly ranked, you know, at least in name. So I can see him fighting David Price as his first, as Price's first defence of his British and Commonwealth titles, should he beat Sam Sexton. And then after that, if he wins or loses, he'll fight some of the British guys as well. You know, for me, I think Skelton will be facing either Sexton, McDermott or Olabamiru as well. If he loses or wins against David Price, it doesn't really matter, in my opinion. That's how I see the fight going, but I do see him facing David Price sooner or later in this year, and I think that'll be a great fight for Price. I think that's one of the good stepping stone fighters that Price needs to make himself worldwide known, put him on a real good world ranking, etc, etc. Tell me what you think about this fight. La la la. I've got to go out now because I'm late for work. See you in a bit. Bye bye bye.